So, it's September, and let's be honest, it's been kind of slow for what other gun releases have been out there. But we do know for sure that there are some little things to be coming out very shortly. Hopefully we're looking at the lever action and the Bato series that I've done a review on, including the R5. Either way, we're looking at also into the events such as what happened recently, Copperhead and American Milsim. And next month, we're looking into Milsim West back in Victorville, California. So, while we don't really have any content right now, let's do something that's more unique that some of us have not seen, though we do see it in other sides of the country. Specifically, let's look into the gas blowback mindset of what I personally have. Why don't we do a personal loadout and review on the Maruyama SCW Gas Blowback Pro SMG. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Airsoft Master. And today what we're talking about is another one of my personal loadouts that I do have here is something more rare in that aspect, and we're looking into is the Maruyama 6mm Pro Gas Blowback SMG, which I have to admit is very, very unique and looks awfully too familiar to a certain company. But we'll talk about that later on. And of course, if you're looking for any type of products that helps out with any of your upgrades or attachments like I do get here, do check us out at airsoftmaster.com. But for now, let's get into the actual review and my personal build on this new SMG. So how did I get the Maruyama Gas Blowback Pro SMG, SCW? Well, it's kind of hard to say, but only thing I do remember was big shout out to Justin, who is a close friend of ours that we keep in the group. Well, he had it, and I was actually more interested into it down the road when I found out that there are some cool things about these features. We'll get to that later on. But the one thing I will admit is I am really more interested to now is that SMG lineup. As we've seen with the Vector, as we've seen with other type of builds that are out there for the SMGs, this one does stick out a good amount for a good reason why. But let's start off like we normally do with the review. Let's start off working our way from the front, then move our way to the back, and then talk about the internals and so on. Let's start off with is the front. And I have to admit, even the SCWs or ACWs that it's actually inspired by, it has the one thing that makes it more attention to detail and nice about an SMG is the Trilock lug system on here to help put on quick detach systems for like you've seen on the MP5 bases. Again, especially if you own a Gemtech Trilock suppressor like I do, it's something very nice just to show off, and having it as a quick detach system like I would see on like the Gemtech Trident suppressors. And to see that on a 9mm SMG, again, it adds that nice little touch for that, I guess you could say like that Secret Service or that one-tier contractor operator for close quarter combat situations. Again, it's a very interesting build, and specifically on a full metal barrel. Now behind the actual suppressor and the outer barrel, we do have is two M-LOK slots specifically that you're able to put other items on here, such as I did on the right hand side. I put is the replica 300 Scout Light in the back end of it, but I also have on the left hand side being it blank. So just in case if you are a left-handed operator, you can be able to swap it out to what is more comfortable for you. Or if you want to, you can put a selfie camera on there or any other attachments that would help you out for mainly using this for maybe I would say more often a close quarter build. Now, you also do have is your other Picatinny rail segment mounts that if you want to put, that do come with it, is underneath is the 6 o'clock position to put a nice foregrip, like I have done here, and then the 12 o'clock monolithic all the way down to the SMG, where you'll see a, I would consider a bougie amount of attachments. Mainly I do have is the backup sights that basically came from the Chris Vector as I borrowed. And at the same time, I decided to put the NGAL in front with a nice stagger setup of the Lancer Tactical T1 riser. Again, it just adds a very go-to, like you would say, as ketchup and mustard on a hot dog or ketchup mustard on a cheeseburger. Either way, it's a very good combination for mainly giving you the modern style of a look. And what I do like about the NGAL is it's very slim alongside with the SMG. If I were to put a PEC box on here, I feel like it would be too much. So that's why I went in with the NGAL. Now, speaking about being monolithic, let's move on to the receiver and its material as made. Well, for this one, the lower is made of a really hard reinforced polymer system as to replicate the other ACWs or SCWs that we've seen on there for the gas blowback. Especially with Maruyama, it's actually pretty nice. What I do like about the lower controls is the fact that we end up with is a full ambidextrous of safe, semi, and full auto on both left-handed and right-handed operations. The same thing can be said about the magazine release and the bolt catch, as we do have it on the right index for us to release the magazine, and also for left-handed, the magazine release button as well on both sides. The same thing can be said about racking the bolt, locking it back, and having an ambidextrous bolt catch. Again, nice little touch from Maruyama. Let's go ahead and talk about the internals. Now, when it comes to specifically on this one, on the SCW, it's very easy to disassemble like you would normally have as an AR, or even the HK setup, where we do have is the back pin that holds the stock and the front pin that holds the lower all together. So let's show it how it's done. Again, same thing like a normal AR. We're going to push the pins out. We're able to take out the stock and the lower. Which leaves us with the remainder is the spring. And then while we're racking back the pin, we do have is the pin that holds the bolt. So while punching this guy out, as such, this releases our bolt and our nozzle. There we are. A very nice lightweight block CNC that helps out with the cycle and everything of the function. Which, speaking of which, I do have to clean this really badly. Sorry guys. Now that we've already seen how to put the disassembly and looking at what the internals look like for the Maruyama, why don't we find where's the hop-up? And surprisingly, it's easy enough, it's a TDC style hop-up as we've seen right here in the back end of the hand stop, where we do see this insignia where it's towards my direction. Going clockwise will increase the hop-up and the backspin. So whatever weight BBs you want to use on here, preferably I would say the 2.5s would be best, would help out in regards of your backspin and your range for BBs. Now that we already talked about the hop-up, why don't we talk about the main important thing is magazine compatibility. Surprisingly enough, I do have is a 50 rounder of the Maruyama extended magazine, which I will say is you do want to be careful of how to put in the magazine insert in here, as you can damage your feed lips and your gasket. So first thing you want to do is rack the bolt back, insert your mag, release the bolt, and you're good to go. But what other magazines that would work with it? Well, surprisingly with the Maruyama setup, it says that it's able to take VFC and Tokyo Marine style mags, such as this one is from the RWA Red Wolf EXA pistol. It locks, it actually locks back. Let's see how it goes with full auto. It works. Again, so we do have is a nice magazine compatibility overall with Tokyo Marui and VFC magazines. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the stock, which I do like is we have this massive metal brace that locks down. kind of like what we've seen on the other builds, and something more, I would say, reminds me of a more stiffer version of the MP5 or even the UMP45, where if it was collapsible, I kind of would see that. So more of a tanker stock even. But what I do like about the SCW 9 gas blowback is it has 3 positions out here for your adjustment to specifically whatever length you want to use. Again, to make it as more easier for you to hold and compact into vehicles, just in case, or even that tight end corners. And if you need more stability, you can pull it all the way out and get yourself ready to go for the fight. I'm using 0.20 gram BBs and Jag Precision race gas. Pretty good on consistency for FPS. Let's have fun. I'm very fond of this build because of, well, it's very unique. And mainly in the airsoft community, what we've seen in 2024 is a lot more of the SMG builds coming out, mainly in the gas blowback line as well. So to see something like this and unique, and something that I was able to own, it's a very unique build. Mainly the fact that we have is ambidextrous everything from the charging handle, selector, bolt catch, even the magazine release, just in case to make it more comfortable for the user in general. A good idea, and also a very excellent motive for close quarter situations when you need to switch hands. It does help out that. And mainly about close quarters is, if I wanted to make it more unique or something more, I guess, in the aspect, I can put the Trilock suppressor, quick detach, and I'm ready to go. But say for example it's too tight, take it out, and the inner barrel length is almost equivalent to a Glock 19 or even the Glock 17. So you have that more compact and really tight ways to get in through every single corner. Speaking about a CQB situation is, well, it doesn't use the 45 magazines, as what I do like about this one is it uses Glock style magazines. A big plus to mainly I have as a also Glock enthusiast, spare magazines that are actually Tokimune or even the VFC types. Again, a big plus, and I have to admit, a very good for my collection. Again, a really nice setup. But what do you guys think about basically the SCW 9? Is this something that you would like to see in the States? I mean, personally for me, I would love to see this as well on there. And the other rotations that we've seen out there. Also, if you have any other experiences with the other SMGs, what are your favorite that you like to see out there? But again, for this episode, my name is Mike. I'll see you till next time.
This video is brought to you by Airsoft Master.